Hello, you're listening to The Olive Tree with me, Julia Fisher, the programme that introduces you to many of the believers, both Jews and Arabs, living in Israel today. My guest today is Dan Alon, who today is a Messianic Jewish pastor in the Negev in southern Israel. He was born into a secular Jewish family. His father was an officer in the Israeli army, and Dan, after finishing his army service, studied industrial engineering at university and worked in that field for 16 years. During that time, he married Dalia, and they had 3 children. It was also during this time that Dan had the opportunity to work in America for 1 year. Little did he and Dalia realize that during that year, their lives would change forever.
Actually, 10 years before then, after we got married, actually we were looking for tools. We're looking for how we can make our life better. So we tried all kinds of things. We tried yoga, we tried 110-year meditation, and then we've been into kind of New Age workshops. And we thought maybe we found ourselves there. But then in summer 91, I was obligated for my workplace to go for a sabbatical year for 1 year. So we went all family to America. And we came with expectation to be involved, what they call the New Age movement, new things in the place where we were going to be, in the west coast of America. But we know today that God had totally different plan for us. Praise Him. So 10 days after we came to America, it was summer break. Our children had been registered to school, but it was summer break. I finished all my formal things in the university where I was supposed to be under a Jewish professor there. And then we had plenty of time. So we started to search America. So we started to travel small journeys in the beginning and then to extend it. But one of the first small journeys, we went to a wonderful natural park in the state of Oregon, about an hour and a half from our home where we were living. On the way, we stopped to buy a new camera. And Dalia, my wife, she was holding the camera on her neck. And when we came to the park, we parked our car in a parking place, and then we went down to see one of the waterfalls. There are a few waterfalls, different waterfalls, and the river which was flowing through the park. And when we just coming very close to the waterfall, we saw a woman in the middle age sitting on a rock and talking to somebody. And then Dalia said to me, "Look, she has the same camera we have," because she was holding a camera too on her neck. Dalia said to me, "She has the same camera." And I said, Dalia, what are you talking about? We didn't come to look on the camera, so we came to see waterfalls and nature. No, but my wife, she's very spontaneous. She didn't listen to me, and she jumped on that woman. I started to speak to her in our very poor English at the time. And, we have the same cameras, look, and so. And I was very embarrassed. So I was looking aside and only watching our children. Our boys were young boys, and our daughter she was a baby in the stroller. But the boys were running everywhere, and I was calling them, be careful, come back, or so on, in Hebrew. My wife called me and said, come. And I come close, and this lady, she looked at her with big eyes, she said, "Wow, you're Jewish, you're Israelis, I'm Jew too." And she started to speak a few words in Hebrew. So we took her with us, and we were walking, traveling in the park, together with her. And while we were walking, we were sure that we found a candidate for our New Age things. So we started to share with her about our New Age things. She listened, but she didn't pay attention. She was saying only one thing. "Oh, I have a wonderful Father in heaven. He's my Father. He loves me so much," and so on. So we were talking like in different ways. She was talking here, we are talking there. But somehow we felt something radiating from her, which we didn't understand at that time. If you look at her, she was short, fat lady, not so looking nice in our way of thinking, but something was coming out of her, and we didn't understand it. And we felt we want to be in touch with this lady. It got to be late, so we came back to the parking lot. We told her, in 3 months we're going to have our older son bar mitzvah. We're going to celebrate the bar mitzvah. So she said, she was very excited. We said, "We want to invite you." "Okay, I will come." So we exchanged address and telephone numbers, and we said goodbye, and that's it. We left. Now, she didn't say anything about her faith, anything about Yeshua, nothing. A month and a half later, it was a long weekend in America, one of the long weekends in America, one of the short feasts they have. And we look on the map where we can travel. And we look and we saw, Northern California. This lady was living just in the bottom of Oregon. Our plan was to go to see the huge trees there, what they call the sequoia trees. And so we look on the map and say, somehow she lives on our way. So we phoned her, telling her, we are going to, please come, stay with me. You stay overnight with me, and then you keep traveling. Please. Okay, so we came on Friday evening to her home. She invited a few friends of her to hear about Israel. We were sharing around the table about Israel, nothing else. Then we went to sleep. Next day we went on our journey, traveling for, I don't remember, 2 or 3 days. And then on the way back she said to us, you have to stop for another night. You're not going to go 1,000 miles or something like that all the way, so you need to stop here. Okay, we stopped for another night, nothing more. And then we left back home. Then, a month and a half later, the bar mitzvah of our oldest son came. So she came. She came on Friday evening. She came to us, but she told us, I'm not going to stay with you overnight. You are very busy. Tomorrow morning you have to be in the synagogue, in the local synagogue of the town. I'm going to be with you only for the Shabbat dinner, what they call. And I have a very good friend of me. She's a good chance for me to visit her. Okay, so she came for dinner. We were sitting and talking and eating, and sometimes the children went to sleep, and sometime close to the middle of the night, we stood up and said, no, we have to go to sleep. Tomorrow morning we have to be at 8 o'clock in the synagogue. And in that moment, she shared that she believed in Yeshua. And we didn't know actually anything else, we didn't know. I don't remember exactly. It's very foggy for me what she was talking. But maybe she was quoting from Isaiah 53 or from Jeremiah 31. But I what I remember very clear. I say, wow. If this man, what they call Yeshua, there were many messiahs along the years, along the centuries, but nothing left out of them. But this man, half of the world are still following him. It should be something very strong. It should be something very solid, very true. And I said, Dalia, wow. And her response was, if you believe, I believe too. So we were together without understanding anything. We grew up in Israel. At that time, when we met this lady, we were around the age of 40, both of us. We never met Jewish believers in Yeshua. We never read the New Testament. On the opposite, we grew up exposed to many bad connotations about Christianity, about Yeshua, Jesus, yes, and so on. But it was something here in our belly, inside there, this is the truth. Even at that night when we went to sleep, our mind started to speak to us. Today I know who was speaking to us, but thoughts came to my mind. Don't trust her, don't believe her. She came to steal your money, all kind of stupid things, funny things. But praise the Lord, I didn't listen to this. I was listening to what was here. So, the next day was the bar mitzvah. We were busy, and she left back home. 2 weeks later, I don't remember if she called us or we called her, but we met again, actually in some mall on the way between our two places, and she brought Bibles in Hebrew, all the New Testament to us, and we were talking. It was wonderful. And then we left back home and started to read the Bibles. Now, you have to understand, as Israelis, we grew up on studying the Old Testament. As Israeli, you studying the Old Testament, the Tanakh, what they call it, from nearly the 3rd grade of your studying in elementary school. up to you finish your high school, you study the Tanakh, but very secular way. Sometimes even very atheistic way. Many of the teachers for Tanakh or Old Testament in Israel, many times they are atheists. They don't believe in God at all. So they are teaching from their point of view, but I knew the Tanakh. I even loved very much to study the Tanakh, the Old Testament. But after we finished the school, the Tanakh, the book was put into the shelf, getting much dust, and that's it. We never look at it anymore. We finished our studies. That's enough. But now we took it again. We started to read it. Dalia said to me, no, I came from a background of traditional Jewish family. I cannot read what my sister will say about me if they know that I read the New Testament. I was very curious. I came from Torah, so I picked up the New Testament, Dalia picked up the Old Testament. And we started to read in the same night. And as I opened the New Testament book, the first book of Matthew, started to read maybe the 5th chapter, I said, wow. It's amazing. It's the same principles that we learn in the New Age workshops. They are here. The same principles. Now, I said that who stole from whom? Maybe these New Ages existed 50, 60, 70, 100 years, maybe. I don't know how long. But this is for thousands of years. So where is the original?
Dan Alon sharing his story, and we'll hear more from Dan on next week's programme when he describes the implications of his life on his newfound faith in Yeshua or Jesus. And you're listening to The Olive Tree with me, Julia Fisher. The Olive Tree Reconciliation Fund is a Christian charity based in the UK that supports the needs of Jewish believers and Arab Christians living in Israel and the West Bank. If you'd like to know more about our work and receive our free bi-monthly newsletter, please either visit our website, www.olivetreefund.org, or write to me, Julia Fisher, at the Olive Tree Reconciliation Fund, PO Box 850, Horsham, RH12 9GA in the UK. Meanwhile, join me at the same time next week for another story from the Olive Tree. Until then, goodbye.